What's going on, everybody? Evan Rauer here with Warm the Hockey Podcast, episode 85 this week. We sit down with Ryan Walter again on Zoom. It's a great episode, great discussion. So make sure you get ready for that to drop. Make sure you head to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe, you rate and review on all those platforms. You also head over to YouTube, subscribe to the Warm the Hockey Podcast YouTube channel, where we are going to be posting this Zoom video for our discussion with Ryan. And make sure you head to Facebook and Instagram, like and follow us there, and engage with us. Ask questions, share stories, write comments. We'd love to hear from you. And we hope you enjoy this discussion with Ryan Walter for episode 85 of Warm the Hockey Podcast. Cheers.
Really good.
Good.
Yeah, since the last time we talked, we are Zoom idiots, right? Like we're doing so much training over Zoom. It's been awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You probably had plenty of travel during your career, and nice to stick around home a little bit.
Totally. And like last time, Evan, do you mind if I record, or can you send me the recording? What's best for you?
I can send you the recording.
Beautiful. That'd be awesome. If you can send audio and video, I'd appreciate that.
Yep, I'm recording now, so I'll get that done and sent to you when we're finished, and then.
That was awesome. Last time was perfect.
Wonderful.
So how are my two buddies? What's going on up there? Is COVID sort of backing off, or not really?
Not the same as the States. So
it's still pretty restricted. Everybody's travel. There's dining restriction and travel restrictions, and not being able to get. They don't want you to leave your health region unless you have to.
Yeah.
So, and that apparently is going to last through the end of May long, or somewhere around there.
Okay, got it.
So,
yeah.
You guys, you and Jen are back in Lower Mainland now, eh?
So we sold on Thetis, and we're back in renting in White Rock, and we're just about to purchase that little piece of land in East Souk.
Oh,
and but it won't be. It'll be a couple years before we build. Building prices are crazy now, as you guys know.
Yeah.
The wood prices and all of that. But as we've looked at purchasing properties and houses, and we're convinced now that we might as well just go and build what we want, because the pricing, there's hardly a house for sale on Vancouver Island right now. Like, they're all scooped up.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Well, that's going to give you a lot of things to fill all your extra spare time with, then, hey?
Oh yeah, and Jen's good at it, though. She's really good at building. We did it once before with the Big Log Home in Langley, and she's energized. She knows what she wants.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it'll be a good experience, and it's going to be a smaller home, and so tucking everything into where we want it will be a good challenge. So
yeah, that'll be fun. Good for you guys. Good for you guys.
Thank you. So what's new and exciting in the hockey world from my two experts here?
Well, so much of our time, Evan and I spend a lot of our time on developmental hockey, on junior and
yes,
and from basically I guess minor hockey on up for the most part, because the NHL is covered ad nauseum. So we spend a lot of time on that, which has been very, very limited and getting more limited by the month. So it's created some vacuum. We've spent quite a lot of time on what the poor kids are up against as far as aging out of bantam, aging through the bantam draft, or aging out of midget, aging out of junior, and not being able to be seen. And at the same time, the recruiters, the scouts, the people in player development, they're not getting to see the kids play. It's really it's created a pretty widespread issue.
Yeah, it's crazy, just crazy. Yeah, well, and how will I was saying to our son Ben, as you guys know, coaching major midget, and I said, Ben, I'm so impressed with you coaches, I mean, can you imagine the drills that they went through this year? Right? And you can't, there's no scrimmage, there's no corner work, like, and then you got to keep kids inspired.
Well, I was gonna. That's what I was gonna mention. It's one thing. Players love to play, so that's an issue. But if you're on the ice and you're expending that energy and you're taking that frustration out in the way that you guys always do,
Yeah.
it still leaves a hole mentally and spiritually in a kid that
Yes.
isn't he's facing that age deadline and he can't play and he's the frustration's got to be awful. And for a guy like Ben, God love him for keeping kids mentally and spiritually healthy through all this.
Yeah, totally. Totally. It's, yeah. And, he's done a brilliant job. He's signed for next year, to come back as the head coach and GM. And so, yeah, but what a tough season. Hopefully,
Gosh,
hopefully next year it turns the corner, and
yeah.
what are you guys hearing? Like, I know we want to get going here, but what are you guys hearing from, the Western Hockey League and junior and minor hockey? Like, are you hearing that we're going to be fine next September, or could we be in trouble again?
Well, I don't think I've heard any of it. I think it would be stupid to not be back to normal just from a revenue perspective, but
Yes.
nothing set in stone on or said on how it's going to be. But
Right.
They are so much at the mercy of the provincial powers, and so there's so many places that are looking at it so differently, and that's why you've got players going to the U.S. Playing in the USHL. They're going to Europe and playing in Sweden or Finland, just to play, just to be seen and develop and be able to get back on the ice. So from the major junior world, they certainly are making plans to start again roughly at the right time in fall. But and they're having the Memorial Cup canceled for a second year now is a major disappointment. But they're very hopeful, but they're still at the mercy of the provincial health people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is, So how can I help you, gentlemen?
Well, we know your time budget is limited, so we'd just like to.
25
I know you have a lot going on in your usual world of leadership and the realm of things that you deal so expertly with. So let her rip, man.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Let's get at it. We've actually got a couple of new models. And do you just remind me? I should know this. Is this an audio podcast or a video audio, or how do you send it out?
Right now it's audio, and with everything changing and going on, the hope is to also do video at some point.
Nice.
But right now it's audio while I learn the process of getting it on video, but also while we get a more proper studio set up and do all that stuff. So
sure. Oh, that's good. Good for you, Evan. And the reason that I mentioned that is I do have a couple of visuals that are pretty powerful, but we can talk through them. So let's just.
What I'm able to do too is I can take our Zoom recording here and I can upload it to YouTube.
Right.
So like we are right now, it would be our video version on YouTube.
Sure.
If
let me ask the question: would it add value to what you guys are doing if I shared a couple of visuals, and then I make sure I talk through it for the podcast, but then you would also have the YouTube video if you wanted it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Could you, Evan? Can you make me a co-host, and then what I'll do is then be able to share just a couple of visuals, and let me just go get them. Make sure they're available.
Make sure I remember how to do that. Hold on.
Yeah, if you hover over my name Um, and then
Let's see.
and then you should be able to make me a co-host.
I can make. Let's see. Here it is. I can make you a host. Yeah.
Yeah, can you make me a co-host or just a host?
It just says host. So.
Oh, that's yeah. I don't want to take that away from you though. That's weird. Let me just have a quick look here. I wonder if I'm doing something. So if I go, yeah. So
Well, I'll make you a host, and then before we close out, you just send it back. Basically.
yeah, and here's what I might do then, Evan, because the last time I did this, when somebody made me a host, it took away their ability to record. But what I'll do, if you make me a host, I'll record also.
Okay.
As a backup for you.
Okay.
Just in case. Okay. So yeah, I mean we've done 100 of these over Zoom, so we're starting to figure it out. Takes me 100 to figure it out.
All right. Yep. I'll make you the host, and then.
Yeah, that's great. And then I can share my screen, so I'll do that in a minute. So we'll jump into it, and I'll share my screen. But let me just record. So I've got this recording, Evan, as a backup, and right now it looks like both of us are recording. Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
Good. I'll let you guys get us in, and then we'll look at two models on team development stuff, and yeah, and then I think your people will like that.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Well, jump into it there, Pop, and we'll get going.
Well, we're back live with Ryan Walter again, Stanley Cup champion, leadership guru, and friend of the show. So, Ryan, thanks for joining us, and we're really eager to hear all what's new in your world.
Thank you. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Evan. We're Jenny and I are in an interesting position, as most of us are during COVID. In 2019, our business typically was we go to clients and we train their people, we grow their leaders, we help synergize their team. And so in 2019, we did between 90 and 100 events across North America. Wow. In 2020, since COVID, we did one. Does that sound like sort of the hockey world right now?
Yeah.
But what happened was we did the big pivot, and I know people are tired of that word, but we literally I've now done between 90 and 95 half-day training sessions over Zoom, and I love the concept. Is imperfect, guys? Or in person? Is that still the best way? 100%. But what we're finding is there's a huge element opportunity of training over Zoom. And we've built 10 new models to help people understand, have visuals to understand some of the training. So, down the road here on our time together, I'd love to show you or explain a couple of those models.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You've got stuff you can share with us today, right?
Yeah, totally. So if you like, I'll just pop. I'm going to give our people who are viewing this on YouTube, we're going to give you a visual. But the primary, actually, let me move out of that. I'm going to also explain. I'll make sure I'm explaining these models, to our friends on the podcast. How's that?
Yes, sir.
And as you can, as Evan and Brad are saying, I've got way too many things open here. So that's a confused computer here, but we'll be fine. So the first sort of model that we've developed that I wanted to show you guys And Brad and Evan, you're seeing more than skill.
Yep.
Good.
Absolutely. Yep.
Is this idea, we're calling it the performance resilience score. Let me just pull this up here. And for the people on the podcast, let's envision this in your mind. This is a fun one because it's got so much hockey terminology. So on the north-south axis, so if you could put fan at the bottom and player at the top. And so we put a little 1 to 10, fan, player. So a one is 1 to 3 is fan, 8 to 10 is a high, performing player. And what's fun, Brad and Evan, like just jump in here. Like when you guys and your, it'd be fun for your listeners to jump in. But here's what I want from you two. Give me an idea around what is a fan. Like just describe it. You can go anywhere you want, but when you think of a fan, like how would you describe that?
A fan?
Yeah.
Gosh. In most cases, just enthusiast.
Yeah.
In some cases, maybe a bit of a student.
Yeah, for sure.
Passionate. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So like the fan for me, and I say to your group out here, your team, for 17 seasons, fans paid our salaries. So I'm not down on fans, right? I love fans. But let's think through maybe the fan concept in a little bit more of a pragmatic view. Fans come in a different door. Fans come through the turnstile. They jump in a seat. They pick up a hot dog and maybe a beer or a Coke. Fans have different expectations. Fans are hoping for an outcome. So I'm not down on fans. I'm just saying it's a very different perspective or frame.
Yep.
And then have some fun with this. What's a player? When I say player, give me your energized version. What is a player? What does a player represent? What does a player do?
Competition.
Yeah, a
Love it.
competitor. Yep, competitor. Someone who is fully committed to being in the arena. Somebody who's
Yes.
really who is in the lion's den, so to speak,
Love
and
it.
loves it.
Yeah, those are great, guys, and totally. So the idea of a player is not perfect, but the idea is that the player comes through the player's entrance. So the player has different expectations than a fan. The player is committed to making it happen, and the player is accountable, right, to their performance on a game-to-game basis. Obviously, you know where we're going here.
Yes.
In this area of preparation, north to south, 1 to 10, the question, whether your podcast listeners are in business, whether they're workers, whether they're in a family, whether they're playing hockey, they're coaching hockey, 1 to 10, fan on the bottom, player at the top, how do you show up?
Okay.
And we're using this model with corporate America, and we're having fun with it. In other words, how do we prepare to play? What is the belief system and the mindset that allows us to be a player? What is the belief system and the mindset that restricts us to being a fan? So that's been a real powerful sort of idea, okay?
Yeah.
Now let's add to the north-south fan player. For our YouTube people, you're actually seeing the visual. We're going to add to from the east-west, we're going to put in playing soft on the left-hand side. I'm going to call it I'm on the West Coast, so I'm going to say it's the West. And then playing hard on the bottom right. And so you guys hate that term, playing soft, but I'll bet you've talked about it during these podcasts. What does it mean to play soft, guys? Like in the game, in business, in life. What does it mean to play soft?
Lacking commitment,
Yep.
being able to be easily swayed and taken off task.
Yeah, pushed off the puck. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, I love that, Evan.
Yep.
Pushed off the puck. Brad, off task. So yeah, totally. So for me, if you guys said to me, Ryan, you were soft tonight. My gloves are coming off, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming after you.
It's the worst thing you can say to a player.
That's the worst thing you can say to a player, Brad. So well put. So let's go to a very better place. What does it mean to play hard, guys? Describe that for me. When I say, okay, Evan, Brad, you guys played hard tonight, what does that look like?
That is being unswayed by adversity.
Yeah. Aggressive.
That no amount of adversity or challenge can take your focus away from the job at hand, from the objective.
Yep, I agree.
Very good. So love that. Here's what's happened, guys, over the last 25 training sessions with primarily with corporate. A bunch of them, actually. I'm starting to do a little more hockey, but primarily with corporate. Is we've asked people to describe, what is a fan, what is a player, what is playing soft, what is playing hard. What's really cool? Even people from Texas who maybe don't like hockey and maybe aren't even sports fans, they get it, right? Like, that's the crazy thing, is everybody gets it. Everybody understands what playing soft or playing hard is in their building, in their culture. So here's what we did for the people at home. I want to make sure I'm describing this. So put 1 for a fan, and all the way at the top put 10 for a player, and then put those numbers in between in your mind. Playing soft, let's put 1, and then all the way across east to west, put in a playing hard. And here's what's really cool about this model, guys, is if you think about fan player, that's how do we show up, right? But if you think about playing soft, playing hard, that's how we compete. So when we start thinking about COVID, and we start thinking about resilience, and we start thinking about grit, right? We start thinking about will. That's where that fits in. And here's what's fun, as you guys can see on the visual, is if we're in a 3-3 position, and here's, I want to be very careful here, guys. I've done this hundreds of times, and I'm learning to use the right language. I don't want us to personalize this model. In other words, Ryan, Brad, Evan, the 3 of us are not 3-3 players. The 3 of us might see ourselves at a position in time in the 3-3 quadrant. So the big difference there is I'm not a soft player, and I hate when scouts say that. I'm a 3-3 player. So in other words, I've got some growing to do. I've got to show up with a better mindset and a better belief system, or I need to grow some bees,
Right.
and I need to compete at a higher level. But I'm not a soft player. So just an example. Let's say that we had a 3-3, a person or a player that was a 3-3 at a point in time. I actually asked, I'm doing a lot of coaching of presidents and CEOs of corporations these days. And I asked one of my coaching presidents, I said, listen, give me a 3-3 player. I showed him the model. And I'm thinking he's going to say, someone down the rung a bit. And you know what he said? He said, "Oh, that's easy." He said, "That's my CEO." I went, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We've just furloughed 900 employees," and he's taken that personally. He said, "Ever since COVID started," he said, "he's been close to a depression. He hasn't talked to me in 3 weeks, and he won't make a decision." He's a 3-3 person at that place in time.
Yeah.
And so what's really interesting, guys, is this is a great model for coaches and players to understand, right, how they're showing up and how they're competing. And here's why I like it. I actually, as you saw at the front there, I call it more than skill.
Right.
So this is the other element that you guys talk about all the time. It's easy to practice the wrist shot, but why are you not effective as a player? It's not just the wrist shot. It's not just the skating, right? There's a deeper element that we call that inner game.
Yeah.
Then I asked the president, I said, "Well, give me an 8-8, right? Give me somebody that's just, showing up and competing hard." And he said, "That's easy." He said, "My 3 direct reports right now," he said, "they have never been better. And during COVID, they have taken their game to the next level."
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So what I love about this concept, it's just a simple concept, is we honor people by not saying you're a hard player, you're a soft player, you're a fan, you're whatever. And we also give them indicators of where they might be now at a point in time so that they can help grow themselves to where they want to go. And as you can see, this is a brilliant coaching model because it gives us a feel, do we need to work on the mindset of the player, or do we need to work on the resilience of the player, the grit of the player?
Right.
And it gives us some direction. So as I leave it up, and I'll go to one more model as we finish up, but
Okay.
what Brad and Evan, what sort of hits home for you guys as for the first time you sort of see this concept?
When I see the two where the graphs want to intersect, I see that whether it's me or whether it's someone I've coached or worked with or played with or whatever, we're all capable of being anywhere on this chart.
Yes.
And sometimes and maybe thinking back to your career, there may have been times when you could go back at the end of your shift and say, "Boy, I was soft there. I didn't dig into the corner the way I should have, or I let up." Or you maybe hit a soft spot or someplace low on that scale. It might have lasted a couple of seconds. It
Yes.
might have lasted a period, but at least then, whether it's after those few seconds or after one shift or after a period, now that's not going to happen again. I got to set a better example. I got to do better. And it could be how you show up, how you prepare, or it could be the execution of being needing to play harder. I see all of us capable of needing this, whether it's temporary, whether it's a few seconds or a couple of days, or maybe your CEO example, who's found himself completely overwhelmed by the COVID situation, taking it all very personally, and kind of paralyzed as far as making decisions and being a leader.
Yeah, really good, really great description. Evan, what hits home for you?
Preparation. It's all about
In what
preparation.
way?
Well, same as what Brad, my dad, said. It's how you prepare, because at any period, any shift, any moment, you can be at any point on that visual, on that graph. So it's
really good.
It's how you prepare in all aspects.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, and guys, let me give you a real world example of that, of what you both said. So late in my career, obviously, lots of mental toughness down the river. I mean, I learned a lot through going through a lot. But I remember 1989 playing a big part in the Stanley Cup run for the Montreal Canadiens. 1990, Serge Savard and Pat Burns, my coach, were starting to. I was one of the older players on the team, and they were starting to, move me, into. Funny, in your career, you go from playing the power play to the penalty kill to neither. and I was at that neither place, okay, and then so the idea was that my ice time was cut and all of that. I was fine with that, but what I wasn't fine with is one night I thought it was unjustified. Pat Burns screamed at me, just gave it to me in front of the team. And I was PO'd because I thought it was unjustified. And I'm a veteran player. I don't think that should happen. For that moment, and it wasn't a long moment, it was what you guys described, right? A point in time. I was a 3-3, right? With the attitude that if you don't care, I don't care. And the point is, obviously, it took a few minutes to think through it, and I got myself out of that place, and I started climbing 5.588. Got myself into a better place. But I think that that's a very important piece, right? Because even the best of the best, even CEOs, even NHL players, for points in time can get there. So this is we call it a performance resilience score model. And that's one thing. And I just give you a 2 or 3 more minutes on one more that we're excited about, guys. Let me pull out of here. And then let me pop back in. Got to see if I've got, there it is. So right there, are you seeing high hope, low hope, guys?
Yes.
Perfect. So for the group, the team at home or that's listening on the podcast, what I did is I just took a simple model of an intersection of lines that create 4 quadrants. And so on the one north-south, we have high hope on the top and low hope on the bottom. And then what's really fun is we've combined that with high trust on the right and low trust on the left. And you know what's really fun about this, guys? This is a really great team identification model. So whether you've got a hockey team or you've got a corporate team, this is a brilliant one for a family team. So as you can imagine, we'll do this very quickly. This can go for a half-day training. But high hope, high trust, that quadrant 4 is pretty exciting, isn't it, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
So give me just some indicators. You're in high hope, high trust on a team. What are some of the indicators of that team?
Energy.
Love it.
Yeah, I would say that you can see that comes out in the execution, comes out in the energy level. High hope, high trust. You trust that you're prepared, you trust your teammates, and you anticipate success.
Potential.
Love it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, cool. So this one, we're competing at a high level. Everybody's on the same page. We're moving forward, right? Like this is a fun spot. Would we agree from a just sort of a mindset point of view that we're up in that future positive, we're moving. So here's the hard part, guys. Let's contrast quadrant 4 with quadrant 1. Right? So we're on a low trust, low hope team. We hardly want to talk about it, right? But we've all been on that team.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? How do you guys what words show up here?
Buffalo Sabres.
That's the second person this morning that has said that to me.
Yeah, that's going to show up as just waiting waiting for the ceiling to cave in on you. It's just anticipating something bad going to happen. Um, and that comes out in body language. It comes out in slumped shoulders and slow feet.
Yes, 100%. You both nailed it. So when we're on low trust, low hope teams, we're actually looking to exit, or we retired 5 years ago and stayed for the paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's really interesting as we start to contrast quadrant 1, which is low trust, low hope, with quadrant 4, which is high hope, high trust. Now, what's fascinating? So those are easy, right? Those are easy to look at. Here's what's hard, guys, and we won't spend too much time here, but I just want you to know that most teams are either in quadrant 3 or quadrant 2. Now let's describe quadrant 3.
Wow.
So quadrant 3 is high hope, but it's low trust. This is fascinating. So now there's a hard one. What comes to mind when you're in a high hope team, but there's low trust on the team? How do you describe that?
Wow. I'm glad you brought this up, because I was looking at quadrants 2 and 3 and thinking, how in the world do people find themselves in either of those?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. High hopes.
I hope you're the one, Dad, that always says tape off the parade route every year when they go on a 4-game win streak. That's high hope.
I hope.
But every year they lose in the first round. That's low trust. So
Do I trust that's going to happen? Absolutely not. So yeah, that's
Great point.
That's a good one.
And quick, I don't want to interrupt here, but I also don't want to get cut off. I've gotten an alert that says I've got 3 minutes left in this meeting.
Beautiful.
That means. So
we're gonna do one more minute, Ev, and
I don't want to rush you. That's not my intention.
No.
I also don't want to lose this whole thing by getting cut off. So I'm just
that's perfect.
throwing it out there.
So let me walk through this, and then I want to challenge your group at the end. Here's what we've heard from clients where we've spent, a half day thinking about these 4 quadrants, is in quadrant 3, which is high hope, but low trust. This is what our clients have said. You've got to watch your back. Right?
Okay.
And you've also got low expectations, exactly because of what Evan said. We lost for the last 4 first rounds in the Stanley Cup Finals. We've lost a first round.
Yeah.
So even though we've got hope for the future, our history doesn't, meet up to that hope.
Okay.
Let's move to quadrant 2 quickly. High trust, low hope. This is where a lot of companies and a lot of families are in the context of COVID. You trust each other, you trust your business, you trust your team, but you have low hope in that COVID-4 won't come back, that the economy won't tank, right? So a lot of people are down here in 2. Here's the challenge as we finish. How do we increase trust? And how do we increase hope? And that is the brilliant brainstorm that, we all want to have, whether we're on a hockey team or a corporate team or a family team. Those are important pieces. Sure. And would we agree, team or guys, that has a spiritual element to it?
100%. Yeah.
When we start thinking about hope and trust.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Locked in together.
Good stuff. I liked it.
Yeah.
Let me say the quick closeout as we have less than a minute in the meeting. That way, if we get cut off, it's, so, that was good stuff, and we appreciate you joining us again. So it was a great visual and great stuff to hear.
Always great. And let's make sure that we also get your, any links that we can pass along to people. And before we get done, I want to make sure that we get on your schedule to talk again soon, and to see if we can also, if you could connect us with Ben.
Yes, we'll do that right away. I was supposed to do that last time. RyanWalter.com. People can send me a note, and From signing autographs for their hockey cards all the way through to, bringing us in to work with their corporate teams. So
Beautiful.
just RyanWalter.com, and guys, can't wait till next time.
Yep, we appreciate it. Well, I'll get the audio video emailed to you once I've edited it and kind of downloaded it, and then we'll be posting it ourselves probably next week. And
Beautiful.
Then, we'll be good.
Awesome, guys.
Blessings to you and your family.
Yeah, thanks, and to you guys. Okay.
Yeah, we look forward to it again next time.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Ryan for joining us on Zoom for our episode this week. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate you. We adore you. We thank you for being a fan, and we look forward to having you on again here soon, very, very soon. We greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, to our listeners, make sure you head to Ryan Walter at ryanwalter.com, jumble the words, ryanwalter.com, ryanwalter.com. Make sure you check him out there. Leadership guru, he's got great stuff. You can submit forms to communicate with him, to do all that stuff and reach out to him. And we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Engage with us. If you want to see more of our video stuff, which we plan on doing anyway, let us know. Share stories, ask questions, and make sure you subscribe, you rate and review, and you like and follow us on all the necessary platforms. And we appreciate you all for tuning in. I say it every week in the audio, but you get to see my face doing it now. We thank you all for tuning in. Listeners, the driving force behind what we do, and we can't not thank you enough for continuing to support. So enjoy the playoffs, which start this week. I'm Evan Rauer with War Room the Hockey Podcast. We'll see you all throughout the hockey community. Cheers.